Hello, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about an essential topic for anyone seeking balance, well-being, and a lighter life: self-healing through the care of our thoughts. Have you ever stopped to think about the power your thoughts have over your life? Many times, we are our own biggest saboteurs. Negative thoughts, constant self-criticism, excessive worrying, all of this affects not only our mental health, but also our physical body. Science has already proven it. Our thoughts influence our emotions, and our emotions directly influence our body. Self-healing begins when we learn to observe our thoughts without judgment. It's not about thinking positively all the time, but rather about cultivating awareness, becoming mindful of what we're feeding internally, and making healthier choices. Have you ever noticed how sometimes we can turn a simple thought into a full-blown soap opera with 78 episodes, complete with a dramatic soundtrack? Something like this. You send someone a message, they see it, but don't reply. And then your mental movie begins. What did I do? Are they upset? Was I too much? Do they hate me? Did they die? And often, the real reason is something like, they were just in the bathroom or forgot to reply. The end. But look at the damage one misinterpreted thought can cause. Anxiety, a racing heart, stress, drama, wild imagination. That's when we realize the power of thought. They're like seeds. If you plant a seed of doubt, a whole forest of insecurity can grow. If you plant gratitude, peace blossoms. The problem is that most of us live on autopilot, thinking without noticing, reacting without reflecting, suffering over things that don't even exist. Or, as people say, suffering in advance, which is the only kind of suffering that comes with interest-free installments. Now, imagine if you had a megaphone in your head and everyone around you could hear what you're thinking all day long. It would be, wow, this outfit looks terrible on me. Ugh, everyone is judging me. Am I really where I'm supposed to be in life? I need to look happy, or no one will love me. It would be funny, and also kind of scary, right? Because deep down, a lot of people live exactly like that, just quietly. And that drains energy, self-esteem, and health. Thinking is inevitable. Suffering because of every thought doesn't have to be. Thoughts can be healing if you choose them consciously. And guess what? That choice is yours. Now imagine there's a mini version of you inside your mind, sitting with a little notepad, just observing everything that passes through your head. That version is your inner observer. It doesn't criticize, doesn't insult, doesn't judge. It just notices. Example: you think, I'm a failure. The observer writes down. Negative thought detected. Source: insecurity. Likely cause: comparison with neighbor who just bought a new car. You start to notice yourself, to notice how and what you think about yourself. And in that moment, something shifts. You stop being the thought and become the one who observes it. And that, my friend, is liberating. Now imagine that instead of sinking into those thoughts, you take a step back and simply observe. No judgment, no trying to fix anything, just watching. That's activating your inner observer. And yes, it's a real skill, one you can train. Psychology calls this ability metacognition. In other words, thinking about your own thoughts. It's like stepping out of the role of actor in the movie and becoming the director. You observe the scene without getting caught up in it. Neuroscience studies, especially those related to mindfulness and meditation, show that this state of observation activates specific areas of the brain, such as prefrontal cortex, responsible for conscious thinking, decision-making, and self-regulation. Insula, involved in internal body awareness, essential for emotional consciousness. Default Mode Network, DMN, which, when dysregulated, is associated with excessive rumination and depression. Practicing the inner observer helps reduce hyperactivity in this network. A study published in Psychiatry Research, Neuroimaging showed that after 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation, there was an increase in gray matter density in areas linked to self-awareness and empathy. Several therapeutic approaches use this concept. For example, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, teaches patients to identify and reevaluate automatic thoughts. The inner observer is the part that notices these thoughts before reacting. Acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, introduces the idea of the self as context, the part of the mind that notices thoughts and emotions without becoming them. Mindfulness, perhaps the most well-known today, is the ongoing practice of observing thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations with full presence, without judgment. Now imagine your thoughts are like characters in a soap opera. You've got the inner critic, who sounds like the teacher from Charlie Brown. You never do anything right, blah blah blah. Then there's the anxious one, always yelling, what if everything goes wrong? And the perfectionist, who's never satisfied with anything. The role of the inner observer is to sit in the audience, eat popcorn, and watch it all unfold with curiosity. Looks like my inner critic is active today. Interesting. No jumping on stage. No becoming the character. This isn't passivity, it's conscious presence. And presence changes everything. Developing your inner observer is like training an invisible muscle. At first, it might feel silly, but over time, you begin to notice that you are not what you think, that you can choose what you feed, that there's a part of you that's always calm, clear, and ready to guide with wisdom. And that part is what opens the path to self-healing. As Viktor Frankl, psychiatrist, Holocaust survivor, and author of Man's Search for Meaning, once wrote, between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. That quote is a true call to consciousness. The space he talks about is exactly what your inner observer creates. The chance to respond rather than react automatically. Just like you brush your teeth every day, you need to clean your mind. You feed your body with food, but what are you feeding your mind? Think about it. What do you consume on social media? Who are the people around you? What stories do you keep repeating to yourself? All of that goes into your system. Self-healing isn't a miracle. It's a routine. It's you becoming the gardener of your own mind. And yes, you'll have to pull out some weeds along the way. Have you noticed that your mind is like fertile soil? Whatever you plant in it grows. The question is, what have you been planting in there? Most of the thoughts you have today weren't consciously chosen. They were installed, like invisible apps, over the course of your life. Phrases you heard in childhood. You're too sensitive. That's not for you. Don't do that, it looks bad. Traumatic or repeated experiences. Comparisons and criticism. Media. Social media. Cultural messages. All of this turns into automatic beliefs that guide your behavior without you even realizing it. And the most dangerous part, we assume these thoughts are natural, when really, they're just familiar. But here's the good news from science. Your brain is plastic. It's always changing. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections, new pathways, and new ways of operating. In other words, you can learn to think differently. You can replace "I can't" with "I'm learning." You can step out of autopilot and choose thoughts that align with the person you want to become. Reprogramming your mind isn't about forcing positivity. It's about creating a healthier, more intentional inner environment. Here are some real, practical steps you can take starting today, right now, to begin your mental habit change project. Create conscious, positive, but believable affirmations. Avoid exaggerated phrases your brain will instantly reject. Instead of, "I'm rich and perfect," try, "I'm learning to prosper with balance." Every day, I treat myself with more respect. Repeat these phrases with intention. Feel them in your body. That strengthens new neural pathways. Another important and powerful practice is therapeutic writing. Every day, write down one negative thought you had, and then rewrite it in a more constructive way. Example, "I never do anything right. Today I noticed something I can improve." That's growth. Writing takes thoughts out of your head and turns them into material for awareness. Digital mental hygiene is essential in this process. What you consume feeds your mental system. Follow accounts that inspire you, reduce time spent on toxic content, and reflect. Is what I'm watching lifting me up or dragging me down? You have control over what you absorb. Use that power. Try the substitute thought technique. Take one automatic thought that holds you back and create a believable replacement for it. Repeat it every time the old thought shows up. Example, when you think, "I'm terrible with money," replace it with, "I'm learning to take better care of my finances." It's like changing the route on your mental GPS. At first, it tries to reroute you back, but with consistency, the new path becomes stronger. Add an emotional check-in to your daily routine. Pause for 2 minutes, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What thought is fueling this feeling? Do I want to keep thinking this way? This simple habit creates awareness and weakens autopilot mode. Thoughts are like smoke. If there's no ventilation, they fill the whole space. Want to start clearing the air? Breathe. For real. A lot of people live in emotional apnea, holding their breath without even realizing it. Then comes anxiety, tension, insomnia. Just by stopping to take 5 deep breaths, your brain starts to shift your internal state. Try right now. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. See, that wasn't hard. Want a challenge? Every time you catch a negative thought, interrupt it with one conscious breath. It's like pressing pause on your mind. Reprogramming isn't forcing, it's training. It's like going to the gym, but for your mind. At first, it feels boring. It seems like nothing's working. But one day, you react differently. You catch yourself breathing instead of yelling. You find yourself offering kindness instead of punishment. And then you realize, healing didn't come from outside. It came from the way you learned to treat yourself. Healing is internal, and it's yours. Self-healing isn't about eliminating every bad thought. It's about not letting them drive the car of your life. You can't control what shows up, but you can choose what you nourish. Thoughts become emotions. Emotions become actions. Actions become your reality. So take gentle care of what you think. Because everything starts there with a single thought. It's not things themselves that disturb us, but the interpretation we give them. Epictetus, Stoic philosopher. In other words, thought is everything, and you can choose to take better care of yours. If this message spoke to you, like this video, share it with someone who feels stuck in their own thoughts and comment below. What thought are you choosing to let go of today? And what new thought will you start planting?